how's it going? I'm Allison. Thanks so much for being a part of my life today and letting me be a part of your life. Today we're talking about the difference between post-traumatic stress disorder and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, how they develop, and then more so on CPTSD, how to heal it, and a little bit about my experience. So, super fun topic, right? I hope that it helps you. Okay, so imagine a person in PTSD. They're going about their life, you know, just going about living a normal life. Then all of a sudden something disrupts. They're going about a normal life. Their system is disrupted, comes to a halt, things are thrown into haywire, and their system is like out of whack and like trying to hold on to normalcy when like there's like a crank stuck in the like, you know, machinery. I'm imagining like cranks working together and then like something getting stuck in there and it being jammed. A normal system that's been moving along gets jammed all of a sudden. Examples of this can be like wartime, which is what most people think of when PTSD is mentioned. It can be like assault. It can be a person like my friend. She was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis. Another friend was diagnosed with lupus. Another friend had like another problem, you know, in their 20s, and like that just changes them as a person. That's kind of a traumatic experience, all like being healthy and then all of a sudden not being healthy, like something changes. Maybe it's losing your job, you know, going through a pandemic. It's traumatic for some people. And everyone's different, you know, experiences that aren't traumatic for other people are for other people, and that's all right, you know, it's just about how your system functions. Same with CPTSD, about it's all relevant, you know, and subjective, and that's fine, you're unique. But it develops very differently than PTSD. CPTSD is when your system grows and learns and develops in an environment that is overwhelming the system. And so the system just starts to work in this unhealthy manner, and that's how it grows and develops. And just over time, it's constantly overwhelmed. Not one event really, or like a series of events that puts a crank in the system, but your system just developing overwhelmed, lacking something that it needs and just learning to cope without it, learning to function without this basic need of theirs, just overwhelmed. Examples for people who come to this channel may be just constant neglect or constant substance abuse, having them in a state of fear or a state of inconsistency, going back and forth between how they should act and not having a normalcy and a way that they usually are, you know, having to be like, okay, I'm the adult now, I'm the child, like you're good, you're not good, what should I do, you know, inconsistency. There could be domestic violence, really strictness. Again, it's relevant for everyone, it's subjective. If you want to share your experience down below, go ahead and do so, that'd be great. But how do we deal with CPTSD? Our system learned to cope without something, without a sense of normalcy and calm and acceptance and care. The way that you heal from CPTSD, it's very complex but also simple. A simple thing done a lot of times. Give yourself what was missing. What is your system overwhelmed because of? Like, what's it lacking? What's the kink that just keeps continuously working around? Fix that kink again and again and again and again. Another part of healing from CPTSD is being able to do what we need to do that we couldn't do when we needed to do it in the past. So for some people, they needed to scream, or they needed to run, or they needed to look away. They needed to escape. Most people who come to my channel were kids dependent on the people who are causing them this consistent overwhelm, and therefore unable to do what they needed to do, get away from those people when they needed to, when they were kids. So that sucks. It sucks that we couldn't do what we needed to do, get away when we really needed to. We just had to learn to cope. bright side, a little sliver of goodness in all this is that now as adults, we have that strength within us that maybe we don't recognize, but it's there, that we are able to handle so much, like a ridiculous amount of fear and pressure and overwhelm. And applying it to non-traumatic situations like in our work, we can really take on a lot and accomplish a lot. But going back to the not so bright side, growing up, if we needed space, it's so important for us to find that space as adults, to give ourselves what we didn't get when we needed it. We need to learn how to give ourselves a wide assortment of things. We need to then give ourselves those things, be able to take them in, and we need to do it consistently for a long time. And let me tell you, support and help is a massive factor in this equation. It's really helpful if you have a support system and people that you can openly talk to about this whole shebang. But just also another thing that you need to give yourself is time and patience on this journey. I would say that high school is when things start getting bad for me, and my system was already overwhelmed before that, because before that was when my older sister was in high school, and that's when things were really bad for her. But then when I hit high school, older siblings moved out, focus was more on me, and I had like a little bit more light and pressure on me, and that was bad in my case. Like, attention was bad. And so also another sibling, my twin sister, started having stuff going on with her, and parents were just getting worse and worse, you know, like they waited to get a divorce until we left the house, and like pressure was building. So by the time I got to high school, system was overwhelmed, and I already had these dysfunctional ways of handling it, like being really quiet and disappearing, just retreating into my room, dissociating into my imagination. And then high school hit, and like things got really bad. And then after high school, college, everything exploded. Yeah, rock bottom. I'll tell you the story one day, but things exploded. And ever since then, it's been like 5-6 years now, I just haven't been able to get my shit together. I feel like it's just taken so long. Discovering ACA was a massive turning point for me, but it has still taken years to just give myself these things consistently enough to make it routine, to build momentum, to be able to start feeling good. You know, it just takes time and practice and patience. You know, you have how many years of living one way with this overwhelmed system? It's gonna take years to unoverwhelm it, you know, to relearn something better, a better way of life. So support is so helpful, you know, but time is, I think, the most important and helpful thing. And just remember that, you know, maybe you won't see a difference in a week, in a month, but in a year, you will. In 5 years, everything's gonna be different, and it could be so much different in a good way if you really just have that intention to look for the light, and then once you find it, walk that way, like take an action towards it consistently. You know, if you see a glimmer of something that worked, do it again and again. You know, just it's simple but complex, because there's no way that I can be like, this is what you do. You know, when I first discovered ACA, I'm like, someone tell me what to do. Give me a literal guidebook. And they're like, there is no guidebook. And I'm like, I want to make one. And I'm coming to learn, I don't think that's what you do, but I do want to work towards just encouraging people to know that your situation is unique, and you will discover your own guidebook over time. But all the nuances in your daily life, like, don't ignore the little things that feel off. Look at them, realize they're off, and go in a direction that feels on, that feels right. Just consistently. Like, that's the best advice that I can give to you. Allow yourself to go with your flow. Frick the flow of the world. Like, go with your flow. Follow that. Let that lead you. Let that freaking lead you. Yeah. And then over time, you'll be in a new place and it'll be good. So I hope that explained PTSD versus CPTSD and then also inspired you. I know it was kind of a subjective take on the matter, but it has basis in science and research and literature, so, you know, it's a great combination that I call the Allisun take on life that I hope that you appreciate. Thanks for watching and being here again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll talk to you soon. I hope that you have a great day today. A swell, lovely, beautiful day. Appreciate who you are because you're beautiful. Okay.